Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to session two for this unit, CHCMHS011. Assess and promote social, emotional, and physical well-being. Just a moment. All right, so as discussed last week, before I start, I'll just show recognition for the traditional owners of the land. So in the spirit of reconciliation, Hattah Institute of Education acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connection to land, sea, and community. We recognise Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people as the first inhabitants of the nation and the traditional custodians of the land on which we work, live, and study. We express our gratitude for the sharing of this land, our sorrow for the personal, spiritual, and cultural cost of that sharing, and hope that we may move forward together in harmony and in the spirit of healing. We pay our respects to all First Nations people and acknowledge elders past, present, and emerging. All right, so just a brief overview of what this unit's all about. I did go through it last week. I thought I'll just touch on it again.
Don't worry if you get anything wrong,
So
as it will tell you what the correct answer was.
So the focus here is on supporting the overall well-being of the people that you work with or you're going to work with in the future. So that means not just looking at the physical side of things, but supporting them emotionally, socially, culturally, and also spiritually as well. So that's what we call the four domains, the four well-being areas. This approach is known as the holistic practice. So let's break that down, as you can see on the slide there. So assessing the person's well-being. So the first part of this unit, or the first part in the elements when you read your learning material and we do your assessments, you look at how to start working with someone to understand their overall well-being. You'll explore what social and emotional well-being means, give them information about the services, and work together to identify their strengths. You also learn how to be aware during your studies of your own values and attitudes as well, so you can work in a non-judgmental, person-centered way. So things like consent and privacy is very important here as well. You must always ask before gathering information or involving others in the care. The next one there is promoting physical well-being. So you got to have conversations with the client or the person that you're supporting about things like nutrition, exercise, sleep, and health issues that they may be facing. Your role isn't to diagnose, but to encourage healthy habits. Check when their last health checks were, help them access professional advice if required, and also help them build simple strategies to feel physically stronger and more energetic. It's important that we promote, or this unit, it's also about promoting social well-being. So this part is about relationships and also the community that they live in or they were once part of. You'll learn how to map out a person's social network, who supports them, who they connect with, and who's missing in the picture. You'll assess whether they feel isolated or connected and help them find the avenues or the ways to reconnect with their community. This could be through things like group activities, volunteer work, or even rebuilding on all past relationships. And then we move on to promoting emotional well-being. So here we focus on how the person is coping emotionally. You'll help them identify their strengths, triggers, and coping strategies. You'll also work with them to create a contingency plan, which is in your assessments, the safety plan is a form of contingency plan. So basically a plan to fall back on when things get hard emotionally. This builds will help build resilience and helps them feel more in control of the situation. Promote cultural and spiritual well-being. So, as we all know, everyone is unique. Everyone has different cultural and spiritual beliefs, different values and practices. In this area, you need to know how to ask respectfully about what's important to the individual and how to support them to stay connected to those things that are important to them. In this case, their faith. So whether it's cultural practice, religious traditions, or community events, your role here is to help them access what matters most to them and remove any barriers that may exist. And the last area is reviewing the person's well-being. So the last part of this unit is about the review progress or their progress in their journey. You learn how to celebrate the small achievements, the small wins that they achieve, revisit goals, adjust plans if required. Sometimes a person might need extra help from specialists. You'll learn how to refer appropriately as we complete the qualification. You'll also evaluate how effective your support has been. You'll seek feedback and reflect on your own practice to improve in the future. So, a big part of this is collaboration and also keeping record, um, which means it involves the person in the notes and plans about their care rather than writing about them without their input. So it's all about having they got to be 100% committed to the plan and to the rehabilitation process. Otherwise, dictating terms will never work or rarely works. All right. Okay. So as discussed last week, we are going to do our role plays tonight. We're going to do the role plays for session 2 and 3. Now, you should take about 10, no more than 10 minutes each. There's four role plays you guys got to complete tonight. So 2 with the first task and 2 with the second one. So it should take about an hour 20 at most for the pair to finish their role plays. Now, just to get you guys a bit warmed up to our role plays, I've got this activity I want you guys to complete together. And there's questions on the side there that I want you guys to work together as a team, as a class. Just discuss each question. I'll read out the case study, and then I'll leave you guys for about 20 minutes to go through each question, and then I'll come back and we'll discuss it. And then we'll have a little break, and we will hopefully then start the role plays. I will do 2 of the role plays with Sam. So I'll do the first assessment with Sam, and then I'll put you guys in your breakout groups, and then I'll do the remainder, the last role play with Sam during class. But the other guys, you don't need to be there for the second one. I think the first one will be enough for you guys to get a bit of an idea on how to do role plays, what's required for these role plays for this unit, and then yeah, we'll go into our breakout groups and then complete our role plays. Okay, so Joanne is a 52-year-old woman referred to community support services following the sudden loss of her husband 6 months ago. This is her first scheduled meeting with a support worker. Joanne arrives on time. She sits quietly in the waiting room and greets the support worker politely, but without much eye contact. During the session, her responses are brief. She appears physically tired, speaks in a low tone, and often pauses before answering. When asked how she has been coping, she says, I just feel lost. I don't really do much these days. Joanne lives alone in and has stopped attending her regular church services and choir group, which she used to enjoy. Friends and co-workers have raised concerns as she has been missing work and no longer returns messages. She reports having trouble sleeping, says her appetite is not great, and has lost interest in most activities. Joanne states she isn't interested in counseling or emotional support. She explains, I'm not really the type to open up like that. I just thought talking to someone informally might help a little. When asked about her routine, she shrugs and mentions drinking tea and watching TV. She avoids talking about her husband's death and in detail and changes the subject when grief is brought up. Sorry. Towards the end of the session, Joanne briefly mentions she used to enjoy singing and volunteering. She adds that she misses those things but does know how to get back into them before leaving. She says, thanks for the chat. I didn't think I'd come, but I'm glad I did. Now there's 5 questions on the side here. So, how would you begin your first session with Joanne to build trust and rapport while respecting her boundaries and current emotional state? The next one is what signs or cues would you look for during the conversation to assess Joanne's emotional, physical, social, and spiritual well-being? List at least one observation or statement from this case that relates to each domain. What communication strategies would you use during the session to gently explore Joanne's needs and encourage her to identify areas she might want to work on? Based on what Joanne has shared in this first session, how would you begin working with her to set small goals, achievable goals in each area of well-being? After the session, how would you reflect on your own approach and ensure your future support remains person-centered, culturally sensitive, and aligned with Joanne's pace and preferences? Okay. So guys, I'll give you guys 20 minutes to go to discuss this as a team, and then I'll come back and we'll start our role plays. Okay. So I'll see you guys then in 20 minutes.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Tony.
Hello, Tony.
Take it away, Sam.
Why me?
Who said that? It wasn't me, show off, Sam.
I didn't know today gonna be 4 role plays. I thought it only gonna be 1 role play.
No, we shouldn't call you that. Should be Sam.
Yeah, that's all right.
It was
doesn't-
nothing
From a
personal.
matter of
It's
respect,
actually
isn't it,
you,
Tony? We
yes.
think he is very.
it's,
You know,
it's
we're not having a
Amber's-
go at you, Sam.
Yeah, that's all right. No, I know it's Amber's little nickname for me, but it's okay. Yeah.
It's just stuck.
So who wants to start on this case study? It's a lot to sink your teeth into now.
Obviously, the first thing is she's got low self-esteem. She's talking in a low tone, feels lost, doesn't really do much. So she's disconnected from obviously community and family, or something along those lines. That'd be where I'd start.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, saying thanks for coming sort of thing, and maybe offer a cup of tea or coffee or something to start. Well,
Yeah,
she's
obviously.
sitting down.
Yeah.
I have to read it. I didn't get a chance to read it, so I'm just looking at that.
Obviously need to make her feel safe in the environment so that she can open up, and wants to.
I mean,
Yeah,
she's come there, so that's a good thing, isn't it? So
100%. She's taken the first step.
yeah.
Yeah, and you know, she has taken that first step, you know, and she wants to talk. She is still, however, kind of closed off, but you know, she is giving little, but little is something. So, you know, when she says she feels lost, you know, it's quite general, right? So you kind of have to encourage her to be more specific about it. What's making her feel lost, you know? And then that's when you can
You could just sort of say,
That's
what does a
right,
normal
yeah.
day consist of for yourself, sort of thing, because she says she doesn't really do much.
Mhm.
And just sort of ask, does she actually see anyone? Because we don't know that, do we yet? So,
But
Yeah.
doesn't it say further down that she's not replying to messages or something and not going to
yeah,
work?
she stopped going. People at work were concerned. Friends and co-workers raised concern that she'd been missing work and no longer returning
Returns
messages.
messages, yeah.
Um,
And
you
having
know,
trouble
so
sleeping.
mm,
Lost her appetite as well. So she's obviously not getting the good nutrition as well.
no, which means she's going to have low energy. She won't feel like doing anything. You know, she's not
Yeah.
going out much. Her vitamin D will be low, so then that affects your mental health as well.
She's
Um,
also dealing with the death of her husband.
yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
it
she's
says she's
So she's
avoiding.
drugs. Yeah, she's drinking tea and watching TV.
It says she's avoiding talking about her husband's death. So
yeah,
in terms
Yeah.
of respecting boundaries, I wouldn't go back there. I would just focus on the positives. Like at the end when she mentioned singing and volunteering, I'd perk up at that and try and focus on that rather than talk about grief, which she
Yeah.
tried to change the subject on.
I was just sort of with the question number 2, like what cues in the conversation. So she's
she's not
obviously
making eye contact really.
in that, yeah. So I wouldn't, like you said, Kurt, bring that up in the meet, like, yeah, because she, like, towards the end of the session, she uses to thing, but she adds, like, you know, she didn't really think she'd come in today, so it was an effort, obviously. So that's just a high five just there, you know. Yeah.
I forget what were each of the domains because it says list at least one observation or statement from the case that relates to each domain. Was it physical, emotional,
physical, social, and spiritual or cultural well-being? At least
so,
one in observation or statement from the case that relates to each domain.
Okay, so she's not really attending her regular church services or choir group, which she used to like. So that's, I guess, the cultural side. No, that's religious.
Physically
Well,
tired.
cultural and spiritual.
Yeah, physically tired, wasn't it? Is the other one.
Yeah.
She speaks in a
Like
low
eating.
voice, so
Yeah, she says she's not having trouble sleeping, not great.
yeah,
So that's to do with the physical. The
yeah,
church, also the social, she's not
She stopped.
replying to contacts. Is that what was said?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the social as well.
um,
And the social is like she's watching a lot of TV at home.
yeah.
That's also social.
It says that she adds that she misses singing and volunteering, but she doesn't really know how to get back into them. So I mean, that's sort of another emotional as well, isn't it? Sort of thing. She's lonely. Sorry, my cat's meowing in the background.
Okay.
Well, then, you know, in regards to the goals, so, you know, she's mentioned her singing and volunteering. So, you know, a small goal to start with would be, you know, to start singing again, maybe pick a favorite song. Pick a favorite song that she can sing at home.
Yeah, at home.
Yeah, maybe, you know, once a week, you know, you can start with once a week and then, you know, you can let her ease back into singing that way. And, you know, with these type of things, it's a step by step type of thing and once she's getting into the flow of it, then she can, you know, go back out to her church, you know, but it's going to be a step by step thing.
Yeah, slow thing sort of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe we could encourage her to make a phone call to one of her friends that does go to church or something, and maybe see about meeting up with them beforehand and going into church with them or something.
Just the one,
yeah,
just the one.
Yeah, just the one friend to sort of contact with.
Yeah.
So Darshika, she's got her hand up. Would you like to say something?
Yeah. I thought because she's so closed off and doesn't want to really engage, I feel the most important thing is to with her coming back to talk to somebody from First Access, because that's seems to be the only outside person that she's actually willing to connect with at the moment. So I thought maybe just to keep her interest, it's maybe good to talk about what she watches on TV to start off and build rapport. Maybe there is a regular TV show that she watches, and then keep talking about it. So she kind of, there's a common thing to talk about and build rapport based on that. And then once she feels she's ready to talk, then probably over those conversations, she may open up.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, from where I work, this happens very often.
Oh,
Okay.
really?
Yeah, because I work for Anglicare, right? So, our clients, they lost a partner. I'm sorry to say, on a very often basis, right? So we do have chaplain services.
That's a good
So
Right.
idea.
actually, that's what I have learned from one of the father. Actually, this strikes pretty good. So what happened is, as what is mentioned here, right? He's attending her regular church service, and the choir group used to do that. So normally, that's kind of indicate that she probably have faced, or he probably have like certain religions. I mean, I'm just assuming, right? So normally when based on the content, it's pretty much he's still in the grieving and trying to
Yeah.
get out of it, right? So sometimes, like say, if people don't want to strike a small talk, just simply, they're still like kind of thinking the grieving like period. So normally, like the chaplain service, they would do is they would just really start from the religion part first. But of course, they won't just start talking about God, everything. It's always started as I think the approach we learn like about open communication, right? So they only ask about yes or no questions. They don't really expect you to give more in details. But normally when they start like striking God, everything you just keep coming, Once, when the father said, God is with you, and we always believe everything happened for the best, and I'm sorry for everything happened to you, like, once that strikes in, people just start talking. But I think in this instance, like, yeah, like you guys said, firstly, just try to be listening and try to validate her feelings, because it's gonna be hard for someone who has been with you for a long time and just suddenly gone, for the empty space to feeling. It's just normal the way she's feeling, and he tried to isolate her from all the social activities, just quite normal.
I mean, she's
But
only 52 as well, so that's quite
yeah,
young to lose a partner.
yeah,
You could even if she was sort of not so much looking to do any of those other things, we could even try and lock in a follow-up appointment with her to come back and see us, because
yeah,
she said she didn't think that should come, but she's glad she did. So
Yeah.
maybe we couldn't encourage her to do all those things straight off the bat, but we could encourage her to come back next week
Yeah.
or something and see
Yeah.
us, and then look at tackling some of those other things that she really
yeah,
enjoys doing.
I agree, Michelle. Maybe it's a possibility. Well, I do think that we'd have her
I
in.
love your accent, Martin.
Thank you. And let her lead. But maybe there's a chance here that her husband used to do the singing and the volunteering with her. So
Yeah,
it might be a thing that's just too much of a
like a
memory
mental
for her
block.
to continue on that for now. So
yeah,
I
too
think you just
much old
kind of have to be
memories.
careful.
And those memories have a way of just catching you right off guard, don't they, when you
That's right.
least
Yeah.
expect it.
Yeah. And like 6
Um,
months, 6 months is, it's nothing. We know that here from
Yeah.
the course, it flies by. So obviously, yeah, she's still heavily in a grieving phase, and it's baby steps all the way, I think.
Yeah, and maybe we could just encourage her to at least touch base with her GP to try and get something sorted with her sleeping. Maybe she needs like a short-term lot of sleeping pills or something, or
Yeah.
some information on melatonin and all that sort of stuff to try and help her sleep a bit,
Maybe
so
a bit
she's
of
got a bit more
meditation
energy.
or podcasts or those kind of things as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She could even, I know that Meals on Wheels are actually kind of hard to organise, and maybe she's not up to that, but could just sort of encourage her to get even some of those pre-made meals from the supermarket, just to get a bit of nutrition in.
Sure. Yeah, and I do know as well also that there is community groups that deal specifically with bereavement. So it's
Yeah,
all
there
people
is.
that are going through the same part of their life. So that might be something where she might be more open to them because they're going through exactly the same thing as she is. So that's something to look at as well.
Yeah, but that probably has to be led by her. Because sometimes it's quite sensitive, like you mentioned there, when it's go to grieving. But I would say from the last paragraph, like I said, I think we probably need to give more empowerment to her because at least he made the first step.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is quite brave.
And I think just keep it really, really casual, like like you've known each other forever and you're friends, and ask her what type of music does she like, what kind of singing has she done, and same with the TV shows, like someone mentioned there not too long ago that what kind of TV shows do you watch, and obviously you're thinking the TV shows would involve humor or something pop culture or something like that, and nothing that is going to show grief or a reminder of losing, a loved one. So
yeah,
I think
because
there's
she
quite
said
a bit
she's
of
not
information in
interested
it.
in.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was just going to say she's not interested in counselling or emotional support. She said so. Maybe try and keep it a little lighthearted and.
Yeah, that's right.
Nothing too in depth, or will scare her off, and she'll never return to us.
That's it.
Yeah, and I would say just like maybe as a strategy of exchanging information, like say once if we find something, for example, if she admit he really likes singing or something, after we ask the open-ended question like yes, this and that, maybe like will self can throw some like small chit chat about like what we like, what song we like, and something like that. So I think just try, so just try to get her feel comfortable just by like we really just like a casual friend chat, and before he's feeling comfortable to open up, we start saying, okay, you feel like something like, oh, I like like I like a Britney Spears, something like that, and I like this. Yeah,
she might run out the door then, mightn't she?
Yeah, but still, it's not nothing bad thing to try. Maybe he was like, oh,
no,
like,
I just meant with
this is not
Britney
my
Spears,
type
she
or
might go,
something.
I'm out. But yeah, as long as she doesn't ask me to sing, we're all good, because apparently I sound like cats being murdered when I sing. So,
yeah,
just avoid that.
Just reading the first paragraph and a bit of the second there, it says, at the first scheduled meeting with a support worker, she arrives on time. But because she doesn't like the official sit down, I think, like with counseling or emotional support, maybe if the venue for that first meeting was like a coffee shop or a quiet park or like that, just to make her feel more relaxed, and she might be a bit more open than if she's in a kind of an office like with an armchair.
Yeah, traditional.
Yeah.
And why is it those chairs that you go to these places, they're always so low down, and you're like, it's so difficult to even get out of the damn chair.
That's right. If I was in one, I ain't getting up without help, that's for sure.
I only had a knee replacement 6 months ago, so someone will be dragging me out of the chair, okay, if we have one of those.
Oh, look, I'm the same. I've had like 11 spinal surgeries in 4 years, so I can get around, but it's you kind of have to everything you have to do, you have to make sure that it's going to be comfortable for you. Yeah, so it takes a toll, that's for sure.
Definitely so. Where did Sam disappear to after all that?
Oh, he's here taking it all in.
Where is he?
Oh,
I can't see him.
You guys are. Yeah, led the conversation really well. So,
I feel like you're a second teacher.
No, nothing like that.
Not Jeff.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, how many units has everyone done? Because this is technically only my second one with Hader. I haven't finished the first one of the DB that we were doing last week or the week before.
I think I'm on. This is my 6th, but I haven't finished the 5th. That domestic violence one. I have to do the last, the role plays for that one. So
you have to do the role plays too. So.
Yeah, so it's I don't think that's like I'm literally. I think though I need to stay no more than 1 unit back. Do you know what I mean? Because at the rate that these assessments are coming, I mean you cannot pile them up to the end, because then you extend your 12 months by whatever it's going to be. So
by the time I finish paying it, I'll probably still be paying it in 4 years or something crazy like that.
But yeah,
it's very expensive. Like $4,000 or something. So unfortunately, no funding.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So do we feel like we've answered Joanne completely?
What's the last one here? After the session, how would you reflect on your own approach and ensure your future support remains person-centered?
How to reflect on your own approach.
I mean,
Yeah, well, you just keep it light like it
Okay,
was
yeah.
during the session, you know. Just work off what she gives you. You don't wanna impose, like, for example, oh yeah, you know, she said she wasn't interested in counseling or emotional support. Well, you know, you don't go and then suggest those type of things to her in the next session. You know, you just keep it light. Whatever information that she feels comfortable to give, that's where you ask your questions from, you know.
Yeah.
And I think if you don't stray too far from that, I think it'll be easy because you know you're working off what she's given you. You're not kind of formulating this new idea and then being like, oh, you know, you should try this or you should try that, da 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 da, you know.
I agree, Sam.
Just
Yeah, I think at the very end there when she says thanks for the chat, I didn't think I would come, but I'm glad I did. I think that's a big statement for her. I mean,
yeah,
she's got over
yeah.
that. That's probably the most difficult part is that initial meeting, and the fact that she's glad she did, to me, says that maybe for the second meeting that she might be able to relax a bit more. You would have built that relationship a bit, and maybe she will open up, and maybe eventually after a few sessions, and obviously you would let her lead, maybe she would then go into some kind of bereavement counseling or emotional support because she has your trust then and you have her trust. So I think that that'd be very important. And like you said, Sam, just don't try and push it. Don't try and say, look, you've been here now for 3 meetings. Why don't we try something different?
Yeah.
Just keep it going the way it's going. Yeah.
yeah.
Could
And
I mean,
that's,
in the real
you
world,
know,
oh sorry.
her statement there, you know, that she's glad she is. That's a perfect platform to jump off in the next session. You know, you
Yeah,
ask her,
Yeah.
what made you feel glad, you know, and then, you know, she'll give you little bits of information, and then you just keep working off that.
that's right.
It's yeah, like I feel like it's pretty simple, you know.
That's true because obviously her confidence and self-esteem, like emotionally, she's obviously a wreck, which you can well imagine. I mean, you lose your husband or you
Yeah.
lose your wife, that's tough enough. But then when you omit the spiritual side of it, you stop going to church, you stop your social thing, but you're singing, all of a sudden it'll become too much. And
Mm.
you're never going to get all of that back just at once. You're going to have to just tread lightly and just do one thing at a time. And again, let her decide what that one thing is going to be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
she could
right. Spot
even
on,
have a
huh?
bit
Yeah,
of not resentment towards the church, but I mean, depending how things is, maybe she's a bit resentful about how her husband died or something, and be
yeah,
questioning if her faith maybe in some
Mm.
sort of sense.
Yeah.
exactly. We all do it.
Why my husband? Why me? Sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Mm.
You know,
100% agree. Yeah. That's
so it might
that's
be a bit
usually a
of a
reason why people
touchy.
stray away.
And
Yeah,
that's right.
from
And
Yeah.
more than likely it is a fact. Like they're a married couple and if she practices her faith like she did, it would have been a thing where every Sunday they would go to church together. So
Mm,
they probably have the exact same seat that they go to every time, like a lot of us do.
probably.
So it's just that gap will be there, when you're lighting candles or when you turn to shake hands with people or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's a huge thing
And
to,
those firsts are always horrific, the first when you've lost somebody,
yeah,
doing that things that you used to do together or anything new, the first time is just gut wrenching.
yes, I'm sure.
So I mean, I guess if we just sort of, thank her for coming and just sort of, say, well, since you did enjoy it more than you thought, how about, could we pencil in another time for you to come back? I don't know in the real world. Can we text clients or is that not really or does it sort of depend on where you work, sort of thing? If you have a work phone, you could text them and sort of say, you know, it was nice to meet you.
Yeah, I think, Michelle, it would probably be down to each individual companies or corporations
Gotcha.
policies and
Obviously not
procedures.
our personal
Yeah.
phone.
But but I do think that if you're going to be their case manager, case you know, case officer or whatever, that if they requested from you, if you're going to be their support person and they would like to reach out to you at any hour of the night, you know, to just talk or whatever, then I don't think ethically that would be a wrong thing to do, you know.
Yeah, no, that's a bit different. But if you had a business, a work phone, and you sort of said, you know, I'm available if you need to text between 9 and 5,
Oh yeah,
or
yeah,
this is my work day sort of thing,
sure, yeah.
and
Okay,
provide her
guys.
with other
Sorry,
lines.
sorry to cut in,
Oh, hello.
but
Sorry.
sorry. All right. So how'd you guys go with that?
Good.
Good.
All good? So I guess the way I design or the way I put this case study together is just a bit of this is how I want the role plays to pretty much go in order. So in the beginning, I want you guys to greet the client, explain to them your role, why, you know, what you're doing at First Access. You know, this will take a few minutes, talk about, you know, the legal and ethical responsibilities, include things like confidentiality and privacy. You would explain that your conversation obviously is private. You have limits to your role. But you know, just let them know that you can help them make referrals, or you'll make referrals in their behalf for any special services that they may require. The next part is to assess, well, for these role plays is to identify each domain and where are they struggling for each domain. So we're going to look at the physical, emotional, spiritual, cultural, and social domains, and just to identify how they tracking in them areas. There might be strengths, there might be some areas of improvement, but we've got to write them down as we go on with our session with the client. And then once we have a good picture, a good understanding about why they're there, why they're here, and usually, from my experience and talking with psychologists and other counselors and other specialists, the best way for them to find out what's going on with the client is exactly what we're doing now, is to go through the domains, the well-being domains, the four areas, and then they'll have a good understanding of what the client needs and where they're struggling and where they thrive. Okay, and once you have a good idea about what the client is, once you draw a picture in your mind about who they are, and then you can start providing them assistance or referrals, or have a conversation with them and lead them in the direction that they should be heading, which is all about rehabilitation, recovery. Of course, you don't want to dictate terms. You don't want to tell them that they have to go to the psychologist. You have to go to the GP because you're overweight. You have to see the psychologist because you clearly got OCD or you clearly got schizophrenia. You can't say things like that because one, you don't have the qualifications to make them assumptions or make them diagnosis. Two, it's a terrible way in trying to get the client to get motivated in starting their journey of rehabilitation. The best way, the most achievable way in getting someone invested in the journey is to get them to make their own decisions, is to empower the client to make their own choices and to come up with the positive ideas that they require to start this or start this journey. So once we do that, the body, so the of the session, so we're talking about identifying, well, the domains, the areas that they need help, their strengths, once we establish some support networks for the client, have some strategies put in place, explain to them, things like the well-being plan, the safety plan, and whichever other plans that are part of this assessments. Then we go into the last part, which is to hopefully rebook another session, a follow-up session, and even ask for some feedback as well. How do you feel? How do you feel this session went? Is there anything else I could have done or said during the session? Just to let them feel a lot more comfortable during the journey, and also for your own progress as well as a support worker, as a professional in mental health as well. So next time you're with the client, you may do things differently, and also help you with your reflective practice as well, and with your own development as a professional for other clients as well. Okay. So I did send out last week 2 documents that go through. I broke each role play down step by step, and I hope you guys read through all that, and hopefully now understand over this whole week of what is expected in the role plays. Like I've said in the past, you're not going to hit every single area that we're looking for. You've only got 6 to 10 minutes to display your skills and your knowledge in this area. So I don't expect you guys to hit 100%. That's never going to happen. You're going to stumble during your role plays, which is completely fine. I expect that. And what I want to see is you guys move on from that and finish the session off. Okay. Now, I don't think I've failed anyone's role play that's done their role plays with me during class thus far. So we've got a 100% success rate. So I wouldn't stress. Okay, for the new guys who are going to start their role plays today with us, don't stress. Just try to get into character. Aim between 6 to 10 minutes. Meet each of them points I just raised, or them areas that I want you guys to achieve, and you'll be fine. Okay. Now, I think we'll just kickstart with me and Sam with the first role play. I'll just bring it up. I'm just gonna bring this screen up. Okay, is there any questions before we start our role plays? No, good. Everyone's ready to go. All right. Let me put this up on the screen. CHCMHS011. Sam, are you still comfortable in doing this role play? Or going first?
Yeah, pretty much.
Excellent.
Do I need my ID here, or just because we're doing it in class?
Yeah, just show your
right.
ID just so other learners can see how it's
No worries.
should be done. Just 1 second. I just need to open this up. Make sure this is the right one. So the first one is Mary. So we're doing task 2 and task 3 today, guys. There's 2 role plays for each one. So part B is working with the client. So this is about meeting the client for the first time and building that rapport, finding out about the client. So again, the 4 areas, the 4 domains, or it should actually be 5, but we call it the 4. So again, the physical, spiritual, social, and cultural and emotional. All right. So scenario here today is your first meeting with Mary. You must build rapport and learn a little about her situation. You are to collaborate with Mary to encourage and create physical, social, emotional, cultural well-being strategies using the well-being support plan provided. Okay. And also as part of this part, you need to complete the wellbeing support plan. Now, like discussed, I don't think we're gonna have time tonight, but I will go through this next week. Definitely go through this next week in the first part of our session before we do our last role play. All right, Sam, you ready?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, I'm just gonna stop the sharing. Stop share. There you go.
Good luck, Sam.
All right, if I can just ask everyone just to turn their cameras off for me, please. Thank you. All right, it's recording. Let me just make sure this is on gallery. All right. All right, guys. So for the new guys who haven't done role play, so here usually what we do is Sam will introduce his full name, display ID, name the unit and what task is completing, and then we'll start our role play. All right, Sam, when you're ready.
Okay, this is Samuel Tway doing the role play for CHCMHS011, Task 2, Part B, and this is my ID.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, and I'll be playing the role of Mary. Just give me 1 sec, Sam.
No
There you
problem.
go. All right, I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay. Hi, Mary. I'd like to introduce myself before we start. I'm Maria. I'm a case manager here at First Access. And before we start as well, I would like to mention your right to privacy and confidentiality. It's in our obligations and policy as an organization that we uphold these for you. Just to give you that assurance that nothing will get out and all your information is safe.
Okay. Oh, thank
Uh,
you. Thanks, Maria.
mhm.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was going to come today, but yeah,
Yeah, all right.
yeah. So yeah, thank you for that. I was worried about. Well, I've never really been part of any of these, sessions with social workers or psychologists. So I'm glad that everything's going to stay private. Yeah, so thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Um, just before we begin, I'd also like to ask for consent to collect and share your information. And that's not with anybody specific. That's for, say, healthcare providers, in case you may need some medical advice. So, is that okay if we get your consent to share your information in that situation?
Yeah. So I have to sign a form, do I?
Yeah. So it's just signing off to to let us know that you
Yeah.
understand what that entails. So,
Yeah. Okay. So you'll ask me before you make the referral, though, even though I sign.
of course,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Yeah. And I also want to let you know that you have the freedom to dictate the direction and the tempo of conversation. So if there's
Yeah.
any topics that you don't feel comfortable with, then, we're not talking about them. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Awesome.
how are you feeling about this and everything?
Well, to be honest, I wasn't sure that I would come today. It's been really overwhelming, especially during the last few months. Very shitty time in my life. I was recently diagnosed with bipolar not long ago. Um, it's been very hard to accept. Sometimes I feel like, I'm two different people. Um, I get these manic episodes sometimes where I don't sleep for days and I start spending, money that I don't even have. Uh, Making big decisions without thinking them through. Um, it's like I crash into this pit and I just shut down completely. Yeah, and my work, you know, I guess the only thing that I enjoy in my life is my work at the moment.
Okay.
I'm a freelance graphic designer, which is awesome because I'm very
Yeah, yeah,
flexible.
of course.
It's very flexible, so I can do things like, seeing friends, which I haven't in a long time. Um, but it's kind of isolating as well because I don't see other people. I'm working alone at home,
Right.
so I think that's affected me a lot as well in terms of socializing with other people. Um, there's sometimes days where I don't speak to anyone.
Right.
I live alone in a small apartment, and that's starting to feel very, very overwhelming at the moment. Yeah.
So, I just wanted to say how it's great that you've kind of, persevered through this situation. It's a very tough situation.
Thank you.
Um, and you've been able to keep that graphic designer job even, when, you've been diagnosed with this bipolar disorder, and it shows great perseverance that you're still able to work. And graphic design is a field that requires great creativity as well. So, um, you have that side to you, and that's that's something we can work with. Um, what
Awesome.
about what about your physical health? Have you
Mm.
when was your last checkup?
I guess it's physically, I think I'm okay. But I
That's
haven't
good.
been, to be honest, I haven't really been looking after myself lately.
Mm,
I've gained weight from the medication that I've been taking. My motivation is gone. Um, I feel always tired, and I just don't feel like really most of the time doing anything.
mhm.
Even things like showering or eating properly have become a chore. Yeah,
Yeah. You know, it definitely can get like that, and I just want you to know that you're not alone in this, because there are a lot of people who experienced the same thing as
yeah.
well. And you said your medication has caused you to gain weight.
Hmm.
Um, what I can suggest is I can make a referral to a GP, and we can get that medication adjusted. You know, it's obviously, that something with the dosage or the specific medication isn't quite working. So,
Yeah.
um, I can organize a referral for a GP if you need, and we can integrate that as a goal that you can work towards, just organizing an appointment for a GP. And if get that done, that's a goal ticked off, and I think
Yeah.
that's a good step. So what do you reckon about that?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, let's do
Mm.
that. Yeah, because I definitely I need to do some adjustments to my medication. I guess that would help. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we can get that organized, and I'll
Mm.
get that written down. Now, you've mentioned your social life,
Mm.
and I wanted to ask about friends and family. What's the situation like that?
Well, like I mentioned, it's pretty much non-existent at the moment. I used to be quite active,
Yeah.
sports. I used to go to church, a lot of volunteering in church. Well, that's pretty much stopped now.
Hmm.
Um, I ended a toxic relationship recently, and even though it was the right decision, it left me feeling, I guess, really vulnerable.
Mm.
I do want to try to reconnect. Maybe something as simple as jogging, maybe, I don't know, or
Yeah, yeah.
joining a soccer team group because I enjoy playing soccer as well.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
That,
yeah. And in terms of connecting, well, socially. Um, I really want to get reconnected with my sister. Our relationship's a little strained, but I just don't know how to make that first step.
Okay, no
Yeah.
worries. We can definitely work our way to that. So, in regards to, you said you liked playing soccer. I know of a team, pretty close to here that has, a football club that has a team, a women's team. Um, and I think they are looking for players. So if you were to give them a call and inquire, they might have a spot for you. In fact, I think it's quite a good chance. It's um, that if you wanted to play again, you could do that, and if not, there's a lot of five-a-side teams as well. That's pretty popular. So, and that would help with your social life as well. You meet new people, and it would also work on your physical fitness as well. So
Mm.
that tackles two, what we call domains. So that's your physical and your social. That would be really helpful to your well-being. Now,
Yeah. Sounds
yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
And
Well,
you mentioned your sister as well. You wouldn't say would you say you wouldn't say you're on bad terms, would you? Or
no,
no?
just I'm not bad too. She still calls me a lot and checks up
Mm,
on me. I don't know. I guess my situation is just I'm just in this bad place where I just don't want to really talk to anyone.
hmm
But I know if I do, it's going to be really good for me, sort of thing. I don't know if you understand that, but yeah,
No, I've definitely experienced that myself where, I need the time for myself.
yeah,
I need the time and I'm in this mindset where I don't want to see anybody, but eventually you will, get to that point. So I feel like all you would need to do for her to for you guys to get connected again, it all it takes is one step. And it's as simple as a text saying, hey, how are you?
mm,
Um, just one text and that'll get the ball rolling. Obviously, it takes uh it's not an overnight solution to how you're feeling,
hmm,
but that text gets the ball rolling. And once the ball's rolling, it gets faster and faster. And as soon as you know it, it can be like, it was again. So, goals to set for, this domain, as we call them in the mental health field. So you can maybe give a call to the football club down the road. It's called Kingsley Westside. Um, so that's one thing you can do, and also send one text to your sister, whether you want the time period for that goal to be, I don't know, a day, even a week, even a week, even longer, even longer. There
yeah.
is there is no time limit to helping you through this. We're not on a time crunch. So, what do you think about those?
Yeah, I think I feel a lot better now.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think I will as soon as I get home. I think I will send her a message, and she'll probably call me straight away. So yeah, thank you for that, Maria. That's
Yeah, yeah, of
yeah,
course.
I will definitely because I already knew the importance of connecting with family and friends, but you just highlighted that even more now. So I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm glad you're feeling better, and
Mm.
that's how we know, that these sessions help. Like emotions are quite a big part to who we are,
Yeah.
and it's never good to ignore them. So,
Mm.
I just wanted to touch on your bipolar disorder.
Mm.
Um, how have you been dealing with the symptoms? Um, that they bring on, so your mood swings and your anxiety.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I know, I've talked to my GP about this. I've been abusing, I don't know if it's abusing, but I've been drinking alcohol a lot, more than usual. And I'm not gonna lie, it's helped a lot with, with the way I feel. I don't feel as shitty after drinking. It slows my mind down and helps me to sleep too. I know it's not good to mix it with the medication. I understand it does things like, plays with your mood and, you know, you, and I understand I'm avoiding my problems, but it's very hard for me, and alcohol helps me a lot in dealing with them, my current situation.
Yeah. And it's not surprising to hear that, because alcohol is a very strong drug that way, in that it's got a lot of properties that make it so. And you know I'm not here to tell you what to do, what not to do in your life. What I can do is offer you some alternatives that you might turn to. So when you're feeling, when you're having a manic episode, or things like that, there are tech, certain strategies that you can employ um, when you're in these episodes. So I know that for a creative such as yourself, there's something called creative art therapy, and that works, uh, with creatives such as yourself. Um, let's say during one of your episodes, you might be able to have the presence of mind to get on your computer and make something that you're thinking about. Just let the emotions do the talking when you're creating.
Mm.
And there is an organization that specializes with that. It's called Anzac Arta. So that's
Mm.
the Australian, New Zealand, and Asian Creative Art Therapy Association. So if you go on their website, which I can definitely provide you with, what they do is, so they've got creative art therapists all around the country, and they've got a search bar that you can put your information in depending on where you live. You can go and visit one of these creative art therapists, and they probably know about it more than me, and they can help you through that and what that process entails. Um,
Mm.
and also, with your bipolar order, we can go back to social, because there are bipolar disorder support groups as well.
Mm.
I know it feels like you're alone in what you're experiencing, but there are a lot of people with bipolar disorder, and some of them get together and they talk it all out. And once you're in those sessions, you're gonna realize, oh wow, like this guy or this girl, they're going through the same thing I am. So um, what I can do is I can get that website for you for the creative art therapists. And we have a support group here at First Access, actually, that does those sessions weekly. So if those were something that you're interested in, I can help you get those organized. I can refer you
Mm.
to the group, and I can give you the website and help you navigate it.
Yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
really good. Yeah, please, Maria. Maria, we've come up with a lot of ideas and that.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to be able to, like, can I have a seat in front of me because I know I'm going to
Yeah.
fulfill? Yeah. Is there something I can get, like a document or?
Yeah. So what I can write up is a well-being support plan.
Mm.
So what that does is that basically just it outlines, all your concerns, right? So you've mentioned that the medication that you're on is kind of not worked. So your social life is not where you want it to be. Um, Emotionally, the bipolar disorder, it kind of amplifies everything you're feeling. And so those fall under the three domains, physical, social, emotional. We can put all that down on paper and then we can write out a plan tackling each one
Yes.
for you, and it's going to be on paper. You can look at it whenever you feel like you're feeling a bit lost,
Right.
and you can pull out the plan and say, "Here's the plan. This is how we're gonna get through this."
Yeah.
So, yeah, how
That will
how you feeling
be
about
very helpful. Yeah,
it? Hmm.
if you can get that for me as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
All right.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned church. How are you keeping in touch with your spiritual side? Because, I know that while you're not be going to church, there are things that you can do to still keep in touch with that side. So how are you feeling about that?
Yeah, it's something that I want to get back in my life is my
Hmm.
faith. I grew
Right.
up in a strong Christian family household.
Mm.
I used to go to church weekly, and
Yeah.
I would love to get that back in my routine. It just, the feeling I had when I was going to church was just next to none. And also, like you said, socializing is very important, and meeting up with family and friends as well at church. As you know, a lot of people have busy lives, busy lifestyles during the week, working and so on. And that was just a time where we can all catch up and,
Yeah.
yeah, pray together and obviously socialize as well afterwards.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that always gives you, a sense of camaraderie
Mm,
when you know, church is so great. Everyone's kind of there for the same reason and aligned with their goals, and just there to have fun as well. So, um, you know, are there any churches near where you're staying? Or
yeah, I've
yep.
got my family church.
Hmm.
I don't know if I should just start going. I don't know if it'll be too overwhelming.
Hmm.
I don't know. I just don't know what's the first step to take in getting reconnected uh, with my church or with my faith.
Yeah, and that's a fair concern. So I can suggest something. What I can do is I can contact whoever the head minister is at, the church, your family church. And what I can do is I can coordinate with them and maybe have them give you a call, because obviously it takes certain mental energy to kind of get up out of your bed and then go to church somewhere that's outside, somewhere that takes time, driving, yeah, in your car. That's a lot. That's a lot of mental energy. So if, if I get your head minister to give you a call and then let them kind of see where you're at, it can just be like this session. You can open up bit by bit, and like I mentioned earlier, step by step. Step by
Mm.
step, we get the ball rolling, and as soon as you know it, the ball is going 100 miles per hour. So,
Yeah, I would
um,
appreciate that.
yeah,
Yeah,
of
that
course.
would be really good, Maria.
Mm.
That way, if they does call me, then I'll know that they want to get reconnected as well. So
Yeah,
yeah, that would be terrific.
Yeah, no worries. And we also do have spiritual services here at First Access as well. So
Yeah.
that could be something that you explore.
Um,
But yeah, you have options, and we can definitely help you with that. So
Perfect. Thank you.
yeah, before we finish, I just want to let you know that I have written everything down, all your goals and your strategies, um, to get you in a better place of well-being. So I just want to see if you're happy to proceed with all we've talked about, and if you've have any questions, really.
No, I appreciate your help today. You've I'm really motivated, and I want to see
That's
where I
good.
go with this year. I just want to get started as soon as possible.
Okay, no worries. And yep, I will get those referrals done. So for your
No worries.
GP, the bipolar disorder group, um, and I can also make some calls, to the soccer club, to the church as well.
Yeah.
So uh, I just want to take this moment for you to celebrate, because it's always tough taking the first step, but you've taken the first step, and
Thank you.
uh, you know it seems like you're encouraged and motivated to take many more steps to maintain your well-being throughout. So uh, yeah, I think it's been a really productive meeting, and um, I want you to take care of yourself.
Thank you so much, Maria. Are we gonna have a follow-up meeting soon,
Yeah,
or yeah?
yeah, we can do that. Yeah,
Yeah, awesome.
whenever you're ready. It can be a week, it can be 2 weeks. Um, it's up to you. Yeah,
All right. No worries. I'll look at my calendar and I'll organize a time with admin.
no problem.
All right.
Thanks for thanks for
Have a
stopping
good
by.
day. Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye. Excellent. Very
All
good, mate.
right.
Good job, Sam.
Cheers, mate.
Very good.
Cheers, Martin.
Well done, Sam.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all good.
You
Um,
hit you hit every single area. I thought you were gonna miss the church one, which would have been fine.
hmm.
But you smashed it. You done really well. Um,
Thanks, Cheyenne.
yeah,
Appreciate it.
done really well, mate.
All right.
Right, let's go to part C.
Review meeting. Fair enough. Okay.
Oh,
Mary.
hey, Maria, how are you?
Good, good. It's great to see you again.
Yeah.
How you been? You look like
Yeah, likewise. Yeah, it's good
yeah.
to see you again. Yeah, I don't know where I'm so happy at the moment. I
Well, that's
feel,
great.
yeah, I just feel really good with my progress and what I've done since our first meeting a month ago.
Hmm.
Yeah, I feel really good. Yeah,
That's so wonderful to hear.
yeah,
And there's obviously a lot to get into. Um, so I want to let you know this is a review meeting to cover everything that's been going on in your life, and I just wanted to ask if you're comfortable at the moment, and if you're aware that this meeting is still confidential and private.
yes, yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah, yeah. I understand. All good. I'm happy
Mhm.
to continue. Yeah.
All right, very good. So to start off, what's been working well? You got a big smile on your
Well,
face.
yeah. So I took your advice and joined the local soccer group or
Okay,
team.
good,
Sorry,
good.
that's been awesome. We train twice a week, even though
Okay.
in the beginning I was really nervous at first,
Hmm.
but it's helped me a lot with my fitness, with my energy, and giving me something to look forward to every week.
That's good.
And obviously of socializing with the team as well,
Hmm.
which has been great. It's helped me out with other things like, you know, having the, you know, having the confidence in reconnecting with my sister, going to church, even going to the shops, you know, without being nervous, it's helped me out heaps. I've also reached out since for a couple of friends. I got bored at home after work. Reconnected with a few friends, caught up a few times, and it's made me realize that I'm not alone, and it's been awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad to hear that, you know, with the soccer team. Are you playing any games soon on the weekends? I know, you know,
Yeah.
that's what the big event is on the weekend. So
Yeah, I played one game. I
yeah.
was really nervous. But once you get into it, you know, once you take the first step and you just start it, it just, it just becomes very easy afterwards. I guess much the same as role plays. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We had to do a lot of them in our course, so
Yeah.
yeah, fair enough. So, you know, I see that, you know, all the aspects that we've talked about in the last session, you know, you've kind of improved on every single one.
Yeah.
So, I just wanted to ask if anything hasn't been working, and if anything needs changing, or maybe a small adjustment even.
Yeah. Look, all in all, I've seen an improvement in a lot of areas. For instance, I've been trying to eat a lot better, go for walks in the morning, like you suggested. I went to see my doctor, he adjusted my medication. I'm not as sluggish or foggy
Okay.
anymore as I used to be, but the migraines have eased up as well, I must admit. But I still struggle with sometimes with my motivation during the day.
Okay.
But I've been a lot better and I've been kinder to myself during the process. But I think that's probably one thing I would want to look into, just motivating myself in terms of exercising and eating well.
Yeah, I definitely get what you're saying because it is very common, you know, not just with people, you know, who require mental health help, you know, it everybody, probably, you know, a good majority of people you walk up to in the street, they'll probably say that they're not motivated, they're not eating as well as they should be, and you know, so you're right in that, you know, you should be kinder to yourself, and um, you know, we can definitely come up with some techniques to get you eating right and to get you where you want to be, you know. I know that for me, what works well is having a good structure and you know, having so I get meals delivered to my door and they're all macro counted. So it's very easy to just put them in the fridge and take them out. So, you know, maybe we can think up some some light and easy is a good example, you know. You can get a bunch of frozen meals and all you have to do is just stick them in the microwave and they're out.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's something we can explore, you know, um, in regard, or maybe you want to cook, maybe, you know, a good strategy is to get all your cooking done at the start of the week and then put all those meals in the fridge so that you still have that aspect of just being able to take it out of the fridge and put it in the microwave because, you know, the people who consistently eat healthy is the ones who treat nutrition like when it comes to nutritious eating, it's as easy as taking a bag of chips out of the cupboard. So we want to make that process easy for you, right? So that could be a strategy that we could explore. What do you think about that?
That sounds like a really good idea. I was actually thinking about that and also spoke to my sister about meal prep and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I would love to incorporate into my routine. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, as always, we'll write that down and we'll incorporate it into your well-being support plan
Awesome.
that we talked about.
Okay.
So, um, that's good. Can I ask about your contingency plans? So when, you have those difficult days or, emergencies or in terms
Mm.
of emotional challenges, have they been working, your contingency plans?
Yeah. I've been like my sister's right always answers her phone.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Um, I'm on top of my medication. I've got like a bit of a diary and routine that I got
All right. Yeah,
placed.
that's good.
Um, yeah, I've got your number. I've called you
Hmm.
once during
Yeah.
during the month. Um, I think that's it. Yeah, that's really
Okay.
they're the things that I'm looking. If I feel like I've decreased my drinking a lot as well. So if I feel
Okay.
like I'm about to drink or I feel like a drink because I'm upset, I usually call my sister or my parents
Mhm.
um, as well. Yeah, and also going to church is helping a lot.
It's good.
I
Yeah.
guess that's my one of my contingency plans as well. Calling the local priest, the priest from my church as
Mhm.
well when I feel like I'm a bit overwhelmed and that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that sounds like a very well-rounded contingency plan. You've got an answer for everything. Um, so I want to take this time to celebrate again because
Yeah.
we have to acknowledge, when we do things well. So you've been attending church when before it was hard to get out of the house. So and you're playing soccer now and playing games. I hope you won on the weekend, by the way.
Yeah, we did actually. Yeah.
That's that's
Yeah.
it's good to know. So um, you know, these are things to celebrate in your life, and and you did it step by step. It wasn't just overnight, was it?
Mm.
It took time, and it took a lot of emotional challenge, but you got there, and you're continually improving as well. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I
Well,
just wanted to congratulate you on that, and
thank you so much.
yeah.
And thank you for all
Uh,
your support, all your help
mm,
along the way. All your referrals, all your suggestions have helped tremendously. I
mhm.
couldn't have done it without you. So thank you.
I'm glad to hear that. Blushing a little. So, can I ask, has anything else changed since the last meeting?
Um, well, really only good things.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I've also, you were talking about group support groups for bipolar.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
So
Been attending those?
I've been attending them. So hearing others
Good.
talk about their experiences has helped me feel
Okay.
normal and less ashamed of my situation as well.
Right.
In terms of the like even with the medication, it just came to mind. I've been using a medication app,
Hmm.
which gives me reminders on when to take them, and that's been helping me with, uh, you know, my doctor said if you don't take it in a certain time or
Hmm.
exact time during each day, it might affect your moods and the way you feel during the day. So I made sure I'm on top of that as well.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, I guess work
Yeah.
has slowed down a little bit, uh,
Okay.
which is a little stressing financially.
Hmm.
I know stress can be a trigger for me,
Hmm.
so I'm trying to manage that. Maybe I need to look at other income options. I guess if you can help me with that.
Okay. Yeah. First Access definitely has people and services that we can refer you to, our financial advisors. Um, and they can help you manage your money, and they can also, you know, find you know, other little opportunities around the place, you know. I'm just, you know, it's I feel like it's about networking, you know. So now that you've got this, you've improved your social domain, and now that you've worked, you know, First Access is part of that social domain. So, you know, I can put you onto a financial advisor, and they can kind of, um, you know, do things like maybe help you manage your money, so that it's optimal, and find maybe a little opportunities for you here and there, because I'm sure there's decent demand for graphic design work. So
Okay. No,
yeah.
no, yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. Um, you know, I with your with your church, you said that that's going well.
Yeah.
You know, there's also the spiritual domain as well. So is there is there anything in regards to your faith that you want to kind of incorporate into your support plan?
Mm. Um, no, I'm quite comfortable
Hmm.
with where I am at with you know, attending church.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's something like with the playing soccer is not something I'm going to stop, and not going to church is
Mhm.
not something I'm going to stop as well.
Okay.
It's if anything, I'll probably increase the amount of times I
Yeah.
visit. Yeah,
Okay. That's good. Yeah, we don't need to rock the boat on
yeah.
on any of that then. So um before we leave, I just want to ask you how you feel about the support from First Access that you've received in your couple of sessions that we've done.
Oh, okay. Yeah, nothing but praise. Thank you so much. You made me feel very comfortable at the first session. You know, you're very calm. You spoke very, you know, slowly. So you know, usually when I go to my doctors, they just, you know, just too
Mm.
quick. I use big fancy words that I don't understand what they're saying half the time. But you know, you make sure I understand what is being said, and that I understand my goals and what I need to do to achieve them.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so yeah, I've got nothing but praise. So thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that. That's we really do appreciate it here, you know. I've had a good time, you know, working with you, and I guess it might be a redundant question, but do you have any suggestions on how to improve our service? You know, both from my side and the organization side, you know.
Yeah.
I know you have praise, but we're not perfect. So, um,
I guess like a reminder system maybe
mhm.
for a session, because I think that's the one I think of, because I almost forgot I had a session today, and even
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a message or a phone call just to remind me the day before that I have a session. That would be beneficial. That would be yeah, that would be something that would help, especially with people who, like myself, who have trouble remembering things because of my diagnosis
Yeah, yeah.
as well. So yeah, it would be a good reminder.
Yeah, and we we should be able to definitely get that done. You know, the organization. Um, I know plenty of health organizations that have an SMS service. So
Mm.
if I write an email, they should definitely get that done. I mean, um, you know, so we'll get that organized. We'll try and get that organized. Um, and yeah, so you know, we've definitely unpacked a lot today. So you obviously you know, with your physical domain, you've definitely improved that. You know, you said you're drinking less, you're training in soccer 2 times a week and playing on the weekends. So that's a big victory. Your social side, you've reconnected with your sister, um, and you know, talking with her quite frequently, as I understand it. So another big success. Um, you know, emotionally, you know, you've definitely been mindful of you've how you're feeling, and you know, taken the time to step back and kind of deal with the situation accordingly. So, and that comes from the support group. I would assume um, that they've given you ideas on how to handle things. So that's good. And it seems like everything is all above board when it comes to, you know, your spiritual side. You go into church, you know, you're slowly enjoying the things that you used to. You're slowly enjoying them again. So I want to thank you for today. It's definitely it's definitely been productive, it seems, and I want to thank you for your honesty and your effort for coming in. You know, it takes a lot of energy, and you've definitely um, done well. Definitely done well.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll love to have another session maybe later on.
Of course, yeah.
See where I'm going. Yeah, because I think it's definitely been helping me. So yeah, thank you again, and see you next time.
See you next time. Take care, Mary.
Thank you. Good work,
All
Sam.
right. Cheers, mate.
Very well, mate.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you've done really well. You touched on every area. You know, you've done the beginning. You know, you continued to build rapport in the beginning. Reminded the client about the important things in terms of legalities and the confidentiality and privacy side of things. You touched on every single goal or
Yeah.
most of the goals. You allowed the client to have their say and, you know, to speak and voice their opinion, and also you celebrated with them their successes. And also along the way, you identified some areas that needed to be improved on, and you came up with another goal, another strategy for it, which was excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Everyone else can put their cameras on.
Whew. All right. Not done yet.
All right. So can I just get your virtual hands up for those who are gonna attempt the role plays tonight? All right. Let's turn. Okay, go Victoria. Wayne. Shika. Good. Jackie. Deborah. Arden. Cheryl. James. Mickey. Yes. 6. Cool.
Hey,
Perfect.
can I just check? Is there anyone who wants to do or can do a real informal, like not an assessment one, but just because I haven't done, I don't feel confident to do it just yet. But I wouldn't mind having a go anyway. But I'm sort of haven't done the reading, so I don't think it
Yeah.
would.
Daniel, did you want to organize a time with me during the week, and we can do it together?
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So just email me your availability, and then I'll organize a time to have a one-on-one session, and we'll do some role plays together.
Okay, thank you.
All good. That is no problem. All right. So Okay. Looks like we've only got time, thanks to Sam, to do one assessment tonight. Because it was very into character and he took a lot
of detail.
I didn't know. I just didn't know that long.
Yeah,
was
you're
good.
just being a Sam.
Yeah, it
Sam,
was
I
good.
thought I was prepared.
Just being
Go off, Sam.
So I feel I envision that you guys are going to take as much time as him, which is good. I want you guys to do that. Because this is the space where you guys hone your skills and learn new skills on how to deal with clients or how to work with clients. So yeah, take as much time as you want. We've got about hour 20. So if you guys spare half an hour each for each other, well, let's get one assessment done today. So let's do the assessment 2, the one that we just done. And then next week we'll complete the last 2 assessments as well. Okay. And I might make some adjustments where we might not need to do a role play 2 for next week. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just got to see how you guys go tonight. Mark them, and then I'll make that decision for next week. All right. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to pair you guys up. So just guys, if you can, make sure you record your role plays to the computer and not to the cloud. It has to be to the computer because I need to see both screens at the same time. All right. So if you can just press that record button now and then pause so we can make sure you're able to record before I put you in your breakout groups.
Hey, try and just a reminder to get put with Jackie, that way I can record for her.
No problem. Approve.
So sorry, Cheyenne, Vicky here.
Yeah.
It just say whether it's possible. I mean, you can put me with Dashika or someone because I just still can't record. I'm just on my phone.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay, this would be great. Thank you.
Wayne?
Yeah, mine's coming up on an iPad, so request host to start cloud recording.
Yeah, that's all right. I think Vicky can record, Dashika can record, Deborah can record,
Cool.
Martin can record, James, Tony, Yasemin can record. Yeah, so we
And you can put me, Victoria, with Tony again, because I record for both of us.
Yeah, no worries.
Thanks, Victoria.
No worries.
All right.
I could probably do the first part of that, the first role play that you guys did.
Yeah, so we're only going to do the first one tonight.
Oh, okay, good, because I don't, as you,
So I
because
just
I emailed you.
I emailed some lady. For some reason your assessments don't show up, but they'll fix it up. It'll come up hopefully.
It's just vanished, exactly. So I couldn't read any information. Okay, because because of what you posted up, I could go from there and what I just heard. So
yeah,
cool. Yep, it's okay. I'll do my best.
Give me a minute, guys. I'm just gonna. So we've got Deborah and Dashika. Let's do that one first. All right, them units should be up now, Yasemin. All your assessments should be back online.
Thank you.
All right, let's do these breakout groups. Actually, let me pause this recording now. All right, so I'll have Michelle, Darcy, and Adrian here who are going to do the role play for CHCMHS011 task 2. I'm going to make a bit of an adjustment. I'm going to ask some questions. I'm going to ask you guys how you would respond in certain areas. And that's going to be a role play for today. I think that's a good way to ease you guys in. You can see you guys are really nervous. That's completely fine. If I can just get you guys to show your ID again. I just wasn't recording before. So if I can get Michelle first. Thank you. Adrian?
Yes, that's my driver's license. So
thank you very much. And Darcy. Darcy, thank you. All right. Awesome. Let me just get this up on the screen. Let's get this up on the screen. Or do I already have it up the screen? No, I don't. Okay, back to classes. Why is it on classes? Oy, all right, I'm just going to share my screen, guys. 1 second. Okay, let's share that. Perfect. All right. CHCMHS011.
CHCM.
011. That's the one. Okay. Preview. All right. So task 1 is about Mary. Mary is 34 years old, woman who was recently diagnosed with bipolar disorder. She has been experiencing severe mood swings, including manic episodes that have led to reckless behavior and depressive episodes that have made it difficult for her to function. Mary lives alone in an apartment and works part-time as a freelance graphic designer. She has a history of substance abuse and has been struggling with anxiety and social isolation. You are to play the role of Maria as a case manager at First Access. Mary has recently been referred to you to assist with delivering collaborative wellbeing support that reflects recovery-oriented practice. Now, so that part of that assessment, you've got to do a client assessment for her, and then we go to the role play, which is part B. Today is your first meeting with Mary, so you must build rapport and learn a little about her situation. You are to collaborate with Mary to encourage and create physical, social, emotional, cultural well-being strategies using the well-being support plan provided. All right, so let's start with Adrian. Now, she comes to your room. Just imagine we're in a real life situation. You're Maria and I'm Mary, and I'm shitting myself, very nervous about the situation. And like you said, you've got some lived experience, so you would know how it feels in that situation. So how would you greet Mary?
Okay, first of all, hello. What was your name? Sorry.
Mary.
You're Mary. Hi, Mary. How are you? Come in. Welcome to the office. Would you like a coffee or a water? And I think, yeah.
Excellent.
I want to make Mary feel comfortable, 100%. Empower her that she's done the right thing by turning up, and yeah, like making it a big deal that you've rocked up today. It's huge. It's a big effort. You could look at it like, how do you eat a dinosaur, one spoon at a time to get little wins. And yeah, just to build, hopefully build your trust in going forward, and finding ways of overcoming your anxieties and being a support in any which way we can.
Excellent. Very good, mate. Sorry, Michelle, did you have a question?
Yeah, just Sam wrote in the chat he didn't get permission to record, so I'm not sure if you saw that.
Yeah, I just gave it to him before.
Okay, cool.
All right. Michelle, what else would you say in the initial meet and greet? What things would you mention?
I would introduce myself and what my role was, and just sort of go through the confidentiality agreement sort of thing, and explain that everything we talk about is confidential and how it would stay between us unless I had her consent to share it with other organisations, and just touch on the part about it'd stay confidential unless I was worried about her safety to herself or danger to others, and then I would have to share it with the relevant people, but I'd talk about things with her first before that, and just explain agreement that I needed to sign to sort of say that what we talk about and things like that would be staying there, and just to liaise with other departments and things like that, and how we store her information. So, that we keep it safe and secure and things like that.
Perfect. Yes, excellent. Darcy, how would you explain your role as a support worker, or is it yeah, she's a support worker, yeah. So how would you explain your role to Mary? Like, as
That,
what your scope, or what can you do and what you can't do?
that we're there to support and guide them through whatever services or sessions they may need. That we can pass off referrals and information like that, and sign them up to certain things.
One sec, sorry. Yes, Sam?
Hey, mate, I just need to get out into the breakout room
Yeah,
with
one sec.
Mickey.
Yeah, no worries. Are you room 6? Okay. All right. Sorry, Darcy. Yep, you're on the right. Yeah, you
So
explained
basically
about
just advising them that we're not a doctor or anything like that, but we're there to support them and guide them through the next steps of their journey in their recovery.
Excellent.
And definitely refer them off to those services if required.
Yeah. All right. So sometimes that's a good explanation. A lot of clients will understand that, but some people are like, oh, so what do you mean? You just do referrals? What kind of referrals do you do? If someone comes speaks to you in that manner, how would you explain to them, like make it more specific?
We could help you with referrals in basically in speaking to psychologists or doctors, or a GP referral. You might want to see a dietitian for some nutrition guidance and things like that, so we can help organise those external services.
Perfect. Awesome. All right, Adrian, what are the 4 domains when it comes to well-being?
Next. No, I don't get it. What do you mean domains? What?
So last week and this week is when Sam was going through the role play, we spoke about the well-being domains. So we spoke about the physical, emotional, spiritual, cultural, and social well-being. So they're the domains.
Oh, and holistic.
Yeah, and then when we put all that together, that's the holistic approach. So generally, support workers, case workers, even psychologists and counselors, when they work with a client, they try to look at the whole picture. And the way that they do that is they break the person into sections. And the best way to do that is to go through each domain. So first we'll look at the physical domain, then we move on to the emotional domain, social and cultural, and then spiritual. And then once we understand where the client is in each area, they might be good in certain areas, they might need help in certain areas, then we'll provide them help in finding avenues and referrals and strategies to improve on them domains. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Whether things like children are involved and in the situation of physical harm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in terms of Mary, let's talk about a physical side of things. What does she need help in, or what area is she needing assistance in terms of physical well-being?
I think I don't remember it too well. I think she had a history of substance abuse.
Yeah.
So therefore, she should be recommended to a GP or an addiction, a clinic even to see if you can solve those substance abuse, rehab. Oh,
So she's got dependency with alcohol at the moment. And she's also got some weight issues that she brings up during the session. So how would you respond to her if she talks about, and it's obviously it would be embarrassing for her, might be, talking about her weight, and also her troubles with alcohol. So how would you respond to her after she just shared that information with you?
Well, I'd let her know that everything is 100% confidential, and there's no judgment here. And we can suggest areas of help for her weight gain or weight problems that it is, and also for the alcohol, the substance abuse, we can suggest, like we can encourage as well, but maybe suggest things like joining an AA or being part of a group of where people suffer the same problems.
Okay, awesome. All right, Michelle. So she begins to open up and talk
Yeah.
about the situation. So she says, for example, just pretend we're in a scenario now. Yeah, look, it's really hard for me to come here. I was referred to by my doctor, my GP, to come and see you. I was recently diagnosed with bipolar not so long ago. It's been very hard to accept. I've been thinking a lot about it. Sometimes I feel like I'm two different people. One day I'm happy, one day I'm low, upset, depressed. I get these episodes where I don't sleep for days and start spending money I don't even have. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's sort of the situation I'm in at the moment.
So I'd probably explain that, I'm not obviously a psychologist or a psychiatrist or have a medical background, but I am familiar with bipolar disorder and the sorts of traits that has, and just, it's nothing to be embarrassed about, and that we can look referrals to some bipolar support groups. If she doesn't have a regular psychologist, even giving a referral to some that might be available in the community that you can get bulk billed or something like that, so that she could go and get a bit of support and understand that all of those things are very normal in that sort of that diagnosis, and find some sort of support that she could reach out to people. There's lots of even Beyond Blue and things like that, Lifeline can have a chat and just sort of let you know on your own. Is that the sort of the thing?
Yeah,
you
very good.
need?
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. So you've summarized pretty much what she just shared with you. You've displayed empathy for a situation. I think in them situations when they're sharing that sort of personal information, I would start up with empathy first. I'll be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry for you. So sorry that you're going through that sort of situation at the moment. I understand that, being diagnosed with something like bipolar would be very stressful and very scary for people. And look,
Yeah.
don't think you're alone in this. There's a lot of people go through what you're going through at the moment. There's a
Yeah.
lot of good treatments. There's a lot of things we can do to help you with your situation. And then you'll start off with the ideas that you have, like, I
Yeah.
can get connected with a counselor, do referrals. You can call this company or these organizations for extra support and so on.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Because I mean, as well as sometimes it's good to have a diagnosis so that
Yeah. Sorry, you just broke
Fraser,
up. Yeah.
oh, just sort of sometimes it's good to you could sort of relate by saying as well that at least now that she has a diagnosis, she's got
Yeah. That she
those sort of
understands what
things.
it is and she
Because
can work
when
on
you
it.
don't know, yeah.
Yeah, excellent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry, Siri's involving herself. I don't unmute myself.
All right, Darcy. So these sessions are not always doom and gloom. We're also got to celebrate the wins and also the good things that are going on with her life. So now she starts talking about her occupation and her work. So she says, for instance, I work from home as a freelance graphic designer. It's really flexible, which is awesome for me, which is good. But in the same time, it's also very isolating. So there are days I don't speak to a single person. I live alone in a small apartment, and that's starting to feel really heavy on me. So how would you respond to that statement?
That she's working from home, she's isolated and lives alone. So would you could encourage her to work outside from home, so she's not at home all the time. If she could go to a cafe or something, a quiet place or a library, and work from there, so she's not always at home, the small isolating apartment.
Yeah. Before we get to the strategies, which are the excellent strategy, how would you respond to before you get into that? Because when, for example, if you're in if you're the doctor and you tell the doctor, your new doctor, you say, I got cancer. The doctor says, oh well, we've got this treatment, that treatment, that treatment. Before we start with that stuff, we've got to build that rapport and also display some empathy.
Yeah.
So how would you respond to that quote about her being a graphic designer? She loves her job. It's flexible, but it's kind of isolating. She feels alone. Sometimes, being alone in an apartment by herself, it can be very heavy on her.
I'll say that it's really good that she does have a job and that she's working from home for herself.
Yep.
But it's not very good, not very nice feeling being isolated and being at home by yourself. So I understand that you would be feeling like that. And it's not good feeling like that because it can add on to other problems. So we could look into maybe a library, a quiet cafe or something like that, personal space that you can work through your job, that you just, so you're not at home, it's a different space for you.
Yes, excellent. That's a good one. The sitting in a cafe will help her with the fears of socializing as well. But that's a very good idea. Adrian, so she's complaining about her weight gain. So she's talking about her physical side of things, so physical well-being. She physically she's okay. So, but she's haven't looked after herself recently, especially during since the diagnosis that she has bipolar. She's gained some weight from the medication. She's lost motivation. She's always tired. She doesn't feel like doing anything most of the time. Even basic things like showering or eating properly have become a chore. So how would you respond to that initially?
Well, I'm sorry to hear that this is all happening in your life, and I think if we can focus on your diet and your well-being, your mental, cleaning, hygiene is empowering for your life. It can change it. It can boost you up, make you feel a lot better.
Excellent. Very good. What do you think about normalizing the situation? You ever heard of that term?
Yeah, but I don't think you would you wouldn't want to normalize that situation. It's too fragile, wouldn't you think?
So when she shares that information with you about, going through all this stuff, and she's obviously embarrassed in sharing this information, which is reluctant in coming. When we mean by normalizing, it's about saying, look, what you're going through is not uncommon. A lot of people who have bipolar, who have mental health concerns or going for a rough patch, go through these things like feeling tired, lack of motivation, even things like not wanting to shower and not eating properly. These are things that a lot of people go through.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
what we
Yeah,
call
I get
that's
that.
what we call normalizing, because some people in them situations feel like they're the only person going through that.
Yeah.
So, for example, if she, a lot of people won't understand things like bipolar or OCD. So when they're going through it, and then when they're seeking assistance, they think they're the only person on planet Earth that is actually going through that situation. A lot of people do.
I
And
get
when
it.
you look, when you normalize it and you explain to them, no, no, look, this is very common. A lot of people have gone through this, and a lot of people have moved past it and hadn't have normal lives. And once you chuck statements like that to the client, they feel a lot motivated and their stress levels go down because then they realize, oh shit, I can get better. I've got a chance of getting better here.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
empowering the client. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what we mean by normalizing the situation.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
All right.
cool.
Awesome. All right. Michelle, can you tell me a little bit about her social side of things?
Yeah. So she's looking at getting a bit more active in the community again. So I'd probably sort of mention what her interests were, if she'd done anything before. And she did mention some soccer and netball. So, look about making some inquiries or coming. I think it's too much to tell her to contact the place. So I'd probably just sort of say, I'm happy to liaise with a few other clubs and see about some opportunities to go down and maybe do a trial or something and
Yeah.
see how it goes from there.
Excellent.
Which would
Very
then
good.
help with the weight gain as well. But I wouldn't be saying it like that. But
Yeah.
just sort of explain it's a bit of a you've brought to our attention about your meds in cause to weight gain. It'd be great to get in to do some of that and tackle two things at once.
Perfect. Excellent. So that's what we call coexisting needs. So yes, the well-being domains, there's 4 or 5 of them, but they do cross over a lot. Like you mentioned, the physical well-being and
Lots and
social
lots.
well-being does cross
Yeah.
over. So if she goes, for example, joins a soccer team, that's good for her physical well-being and also her social
So
well-being
for
as well.
emotional as well, like when you
Yeah,
to join things like that, then you feel better about yourself and it all sort of helps make it a bit easier to get out of bed each day. So
that's right. Yeah, excellent. So they all work together. So if one area is not going so well, it is more likely that's going to affect everything else. So we've got to make sure that's why we're trying to take care of the client holistically. Excellent. Okay. On for all right. Darcy, what about cultural and spiritual side of things? So she's saying, so you've asked her a question, so you've covered some of the well-being areas, and now we're up to the cultural and spiritual side of things. She makes a statement saying that, she comes from a Christian family, Christian household. She used to go to church every week. Lately, she feels very disconnected from her faith, but wants to get back into it because she misses it. She doesn't know how to bring that part of herself back and feels very awkward. Um, so how would you respond to that statement, and what kind of strategy would you offer?
Advise. So basically, just check in and say, find out why she may have stepped away, if it's because of her feelings or if it was something else. Advise that it's okay to feel like that, and if she's ready to wanting to step back in full time back into it. As you mentioned, it was a family church, so if she's not sure how to get back into it, she could be asking her sister that she wanted to reconnect with if they wanted to go to the church together, which would also help with her social needs as well, getting back into the community and meeting new people, and socializing again back with the church.
Awesome. Very good. So again, same thing as Michelle, you've managed to merge a couple of the well-being areas together. So because they're coexisting needs, excellent. Very good. So you got the social and the spiritual side of things ticked off again there. So we've covered physical with the joining the soccer team, going to the GP to talk about the medication and her other health concerns. We've touched on emotional. Adrian, what about her substance use with the alcohol? What would you suggest for her to do there?
Go back to church. Yeah, well, I mean, substance abuse in a crisis that she's in is, especially with bipolar, is a danger. It's not a very good mix. So I might suggest joining a community, Alcoholics Anonymous, seeing a GP again, to maybe balance out her medication, or
yes, perfect.
And that connection with family, with friends, as we talked about, is a good area to seek help, support.
Excellent. Yes. Very good. You've done the same thing. You've got the well-being areas crossing over again. So you've got the physical, we're talking about an alcohol issue, dependency issue. So you've got the emotional side, well-being, and the social and spiritual all mixing together to help her out to boost her overall well-being, which is excellent. Yes, referrals to the GP, counselors, AOD counselors even, or trying to get her to join groups where she can join as well. That will also help her with socializing as well. Excellent. All right. So Michelle, how would you end the session with it? How would you wrap it up?
So thank her for her time. Go through the goals that we've set, or what would just I guess summarize what we discussed today, and any tasks that she may be saying that she's going to do. Just remind her of that. Talk about whether she'd be interested in coming to meet again, just ask if she had any questions, and praise her on for her effort of getting there in the first place. So just explain that, really glad that you come, and hope to see you again soon. So
very well. That's it. Yeah, very good. Darcy, how would you explain the well-being plan to her?
The wellbeing support plan.
Yeah.
Basically, when I started looking at this role play part, I started looking, I introduced it at the start of my sessions usually. So I usually just advise that, just wanted to go over a couple of things with you. You'll notice me taking notes.
Wow, yes.
Throughout our session, and this is for us to look back on together so that we can monitor your growth and how far you've come.
Excellent.
These notes will stay completely between yourself and I, just so that we can look back and forth over them. I can give you a copy of them. So on the support plan, we'll have written up your concerns that we've covered during our session and any strategies that we've put in place. So I'll give you a copy, I'll email it out to you, put it on your fridge up at home. So whenever you need to refer back to it, it's there. And then next session, we can review that again and see if we need to add anything or take anything off, and we move forward from there.
Perfect. Very good. Very good
that was
disclaimer.
awesome, Darcy. Sorry, just had to
Really
say.
No, that was really good.
I'm taking notes frantically.
All right. Very well done, guys. Now let's go on to the review. So she comes back to you a month later. She looks very happy. She wants to share her progress, and you want to find out what's happening with her. So Adrian, how would you greet her in the beginning?
It was really good to see you back. We've been on our mind. We wanted to have a catch up, and it's good to see you. Look like life's improving for you. Can you tell us about what's been happening in your world?
Excellent. So before we get into that, you just got to also explain. Look, once again, just a reminder: everything that is said in this meeting is completely confidential and private. I might need you to sign more paperwork if we need to do any more referrals. Are you all good with that?
Yeah.
And then you can also add Darcy's excellent disclaimer there as well about, we'll continue on with the wellbeing plan. You'll see me writing notes. Doesn't mean I'm not listening to you. I'm just trying to add as much information so we can bolster up your wellbeing plan and get you the best strategies in place so we can continue on with your rehabilitation.
I've taken 1,000 notes myself, but I've got to put
Excellent.
them in order, you know what I mean? Anyway.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
By the time you get to your third or fourth, you'll have these role plays down pat, and you'll know what to say and when to say it. Very like clockwork. So yeah, it's just working on your script on your mind, and this is good. This is how I do in my role as well. As you guys know, I've explained. My main role is I work in youth justice in New South Wales as a manager. And when I speak to the kids, I've got a script in my mind already. I know what to say to them from start to finish. I don't go in there blind. I know what to say because I do my background research on the client as well. I know a lot about him, about the client, and I also have experience in speaking to the kids as well. So I just go off that same script all the time and just adjust to it as I see fit with the client. All right, so you've done your initial greet. You continue on this rapport building with the client. Now she wants to talk about her success. So now she says, Adrian, I actually in a very good place. I took your advice and I joined the local soccer team. It's been awesome. Been training twice a week, playing a game on the weekends as well. It's helped heaps with my energy and given me something to look forward to. I'm so happy I can't explain it. So how would you reply back to that, Adrian?
I think that's fantastic. Life is looking up. We had confidence in that you were going to move up. We know that you went through a bit of a battle at one stage, and great things can be achieved by small wins. And it's awesome to know that you're out and about and you're enjoying things that you used to, and the soccer and connecting with people. It's fantastic news. Awesome.
Perfect. Excellent. All right, Michelle. So she continues on. She's so happy. She keeps talking. I also reached out to a couple of friends I lost touch with. We've caught up a few times, and it's made me realize that I'm not alone.
Sorry, my dad just wanted me to fix the TV. Could you just remind me what you just said then?
Yeah, so she's still rambling on because she's so happy. So she says that I'm also reached out to friends that I haven't seen in ages. I've somehow built up the courage to do so. We've caught up a few times already. It's made me realize that I'm not alone, not as alone as I thought I was.
Yeah, I would be, to explain how thrilled I am to hear that, and how it takes a lot of guts to make that first move, and to actually follow through with something. So it's fantastic to hear that she's done that, and even like without sounding sort of cliche, but ramp it up a little bit so that she actually walks out of there thinking, "Yay me! I did that," and just sort of say that, maybe she could reach out to other people in the community who are having a bit of a tough battle or something like that, and let them know that
Excellent.
there's someone always there to help out.
Excellent. All right. Very good. Darcy. So she's talking about all this good stuff. She's going really well. Physical side of things, social side of things are looking up. But then she mentions that, I still struggle with motivation sometimes, but I'm being being kind to myself most of the time. I've started attending, a support group for people with bipolar. Hearing others talk about their experiences has helped me a lot, and has also made me feel normal and less ashamed of my situation. But yeah, I do sometimes find it difficult with the motivation side of things.
Yep. I would just reassure her that that she's been doing really well with everything that she's been doing, with everything being up, and attending all the support groups and everything like that. But then I'll just also remind her that it's normal and that we all have those downer days and things like without having that motivation. Would ask her into if it was with going to soccer training or something like that. Maybe she might want to meet up with someone from soccer training beforehand and go to tryouts together, you know, carpool or walk together or something like that, just so she has that other person to motivate her. Or with church, like I mentioned previously, reconnecting with her sister. So going to the churches together to have that little bit of a motivation to get back out there.
Excellent. Perfect. So, all right, Adrian. So we've spoken about all her successes. She's absolutely killed it for the last month. Now, we all know no one's perfect. Everyone has their struggles, and you know, 9 times out of 10, there is going to be an issue along the way. So how would you try to find out or try to examine if there's any areas that need to be improved on, or if there's anything that she wants to speak about or need assistance in?
Well, with the motivation, I think as well, like Darcy said, it was that fully encouraging her and letting her know that everyone makes mistakes. Everyone's human. We could suggest more clinics or people to GPs or something. I don't know. I might be off the wrong. I think I'm on the wrong track.
You're going. No, you're right. But just for instance, so we've covered all her successes. She's done really well, but we know as professionals that she might need some help in some areas. So we need to bring her sort of back to earth and ground her a little bit. So how would you explore that? How would you say, like, because you want to find out if there's something that she needs help with. So how would you explore that?
Well, we'll be asking about making another appointment.
Yeah, you can ask for another appointment or another. Yeah, or you can say something like, "Look, I'm really happy in the way you're going at the moment. It sounds like you've done a lot of progress in terms of physical health, social as well. You know, you're playing soccer now. You're meeting new people. You're connecting with new friends. You're connected back with your sister. You're going to church. It's awesome. Is there anything else, or is there anything that you're struggling with at the moment that you need that I can help you with? Is there anything that's popped up in the last month that you need any advice or any that you want to speak to any specialists about? That's how you would go into the next phase of our session.
Yeah.
And there,
Just
then
digging a little deeper, maybe. Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. Perfect. All right, Miss Michelle. So now where something's come to mind. The finance side of things have come to mind. She's saying that, you know, how again she's a freelancer, work has dried up a little bit. She's struggling with her finances and it is stressing her out. And as we know, as professionals, that stress can ignite the fire when it comes to relapse as well. So what can you say and also offer?
So I would offer a referral to some financial counselling because we actually run that in-house here. We have a financial counsellor who comes in once a month or once a week, which I could refer you to them to have a chat. I mean, only because I'm aware of it, but things like, you know, utility relief grants and things like that, which you can get assistance for your like electricity, gas and water. They give you a certain amount over a 2-year period, which might help to take a bit of pressure off that. You know, or maybe refer it to even like an employment service who might be able to help to get some more work, even if just a small contract or something. Because if she's busy as well, takes her mind off the potential relapse, as well as financially assisting her.
Yeah, Perfect. Yeah, very good. There's nothing better than a support worker or a social worker that knows what they're talking about. Which is awesome. Like what you just said, Michelle. Sometimes I've met a lot of social workers and caseworkers that might have the fancy degrees and diplomas, but when the client needs help or referrals or suggestions, they have nothing to offer.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So it's very
Sometimes
important.
it's that lived experience, isn't it? When you
Yeah,
know which ways you can vary around
that's right.
different
Lived
things.
experience, and you gotta work. You gotta do your own due diligence and find them referrals and find them organizations that are going to help
Yeah.
your client as well. And you know, even with Mary, there's a little bit of background information before you meet her for the first time. So even reading up on her case notes, speaking to the doctor about where she's at in life, you'll have a good understanding of what she needs, and then you can do some research before she comes to your session, and then you'll have them ready for it.
Yeah.
And then that will go a long way, especially during the session when you start throwing out referrals to her, and she'll be like, "Oh shit."
Well, what's this?
Yeah,
If you can give a hard copy as
you know your
well
stuff.
to,
You actually care about me, and then
I
you're gonna,
reckon
yeah,
that's definitely something I think that we should all do moving forward is, obviously in our local area sort of thing would be to like get a folder and compile different things that are in the community of what we can access and just have it like as a little resource folder for when you go out
definitely,
and
yeah,
about.
yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, in the mental health qualification, there's not much around community services, which is a shame because with the community services, some of the modules there,
Go to sleep now.
where
Someone's
you
getting
dive
told to
into
go to
this sort of
sleep.
things. You dive into for this side of things like doing research, going out there and meeting organizations, finding out as much as you can about your local area.
Yeah, when I did my community diploma of community service work, we got told we were recommended to actually touch base with organisations and see if we could go spend a couple of hours there,
Yeah.
and learn about what they do. Even go and sit in the local courthouse and watch some of the cases and the reasons people come in.
Yeah.
Because it all links back to one thing.
Yeah.
So, but if someone wants to tell me to go to bed, I'm happy to go as well. I could hear someone getting told to go to bed.
Sorry, that's my 4-year-old daughter. She's up having a party.
That's all right. That's
While
completely
mummy's busy,
understandable.
she'll party.
That's the life of an adult learner. Yeah. Adrian.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well, yeah. Look, what we were just talking about. I've told a few people before that I've got a charity here in Adelaide. We give them a feed, and we give them clothes, and like good stuff, toiletries, you name it. Now, when I go out there, I love it. Right, the people, they love me. It's like you're dealing with real severe mental health issues here, and I love it. Like I just go out. I love the people. I love on them, and they always ask me, but I want to do this course. And they, where's Adrian? Where's Adrian? And my wife is out there tonight doing it with lasagna and garlic bread and you name it. And the thing is, like out on the street, and when I'm dealing with real people, it's so natural to me. I can just do it. Like there's like you're addressing everything. Does that make sense? Yet when it comes to this paper and ways, like I wasn't very good at school. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no,
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I know that 99% of you already know this stuff, have the knowledge in your brain and somewhere there. And when you're in a classroom setting, and then when you've got the pressures of the eyes and everyone watching you, and you think, oh shit, I've got to meet this point as is, or
Yeah.
I'm not going to pass. I get that. That's why I'm trying to get you out of that thinking and just trying to get you guys into character, and trying to, be in the moment and as if you are the social worker and you are there to support the social work. Like I said in the beginning, you're going to make mistakes as we go along. No one's perfect. You know, even a psychologist that has 30 years experience, they're going to make mistakes here and there during their sessions. But where they succeed in or where they thrive in is they identify that they've made a mistake and then they try to fix that up and then carry on with their session. So Adrian, don't worry about failing and passing and getting 100% and 10% and 20% in your assessments and role plays. Just do what you know and do what you got to. A manager of mine once told me, he said, when I first started as a youth worker, I said, when you talk to a client or when you talk to a young person, treat them like a mirror. So treat them like you would want to be treated. So if you treat them with aggression and hatred, and if you look down on them and you roll
Oh,
your,
they sense it. Yeah.
you're gonna get that right back thrown back in your face. You're gonna get the
100%.
same energy back. But
Yeah.
if you treat them with respect, if you try to build rapport, if you try to, find some common ground and you treat them with empathy and dignity, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get that reaction back.
Yeah.
Going to be able to build that rapport with that client. And I know from speaking to you in the last month, I know you got that. I know you got that understanding on how to speak to people, and you've got that common sense knowledge, and you've got them years of experience, or you've got learned experience as well. So you know what it feels like to go through hard times as well. So you got that knowledge and you got that experience. You just got to not panic during these assessments and just try to
Believe in yourself as
be as
well.
natural as possible. Yeah, if you just be yourself and just give your best, you're gonna pass.
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay, that's cool. Thanks for the
All right.
encouragement. Yep. Cheers.
For
Awesome.
example, you've just passed this assessment, so you've just passed task 2. So you've done really Michelle, Adrian, and Darcy. All 3 of you have passed. So what I'm going to do,
Congratulations, guys.
Yeah.
good work. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to send you a document. It's called assessment feedback. So what you do with that assessment feedback, that Word document, is you attach it to the assessment. So instead of attaching a recording of a role play, you attach my document. So that is as good as saying you're passed. But you got to make sure you attach that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
You still got to do assessment 3 and 4. All right, which we will do next week. All right.
Better about it now,
All
I think.
right.
Just getting that sort of little walk through things, it feels a bit more doable.
Yeah. The more you have a go at it, the more role plays you do. If it gets really easy. Look, Yasmin's here too now. She would say the same thing. In the beginning, there was a lot of panic, a lot of stress. I'm sure there was sleepless nights, but now there's a role play like, oh, whatever, let's just do it.
Yep. I had like 5 minute preparation before this one. I didn't have the information. You asked me to help Wayne, but Wayne guided me through it. And
Hey,
we got through it. Thanks, Wayne.
excellent. How'd you go, Wayne?
Yeah, good, I think. Yasmin was great.
I'm sure you done well.
She hit the record button, which was awesome.
I'm sure he's done well. All right, I think it's 8:40. Still got a couple of guys going, of course. See, with Sam, right? Sam's already done his part, so I don't know how Sam's still going. Sam and Mickey.
I wish we could spy on them.
He talks too much.
Oh, he does. Yeah, he's a talker.
He's having his own party.
What does he do for work? Does anyone know?
He works at the casino.
He works at the casino. Oh, well, there you go. So he's got people skills, and you have to talk there, don't you?
Yep.
So,
All right.
I wish we could spy on him.
Guys, did you have any other questions or anything else you wanted to clear up?
Just if the video is too long and I'm unable to email it to Wayne, I'll let you know again once I finish all the other stuff and upload his with mine, so you can move it like you did the last time.
Yeah, I will.
Yep, but yeah, obviously
Just-
only if it
yeah.
doesn't go through.
Yeah, just let me know and we'll sort that out. All right, Michelle, can I get your last
Yeah.
name?
Malone, M for Mary, Alone.
Mal
One.
Malone. Perfect.
Only I was married for 22 years and now I've had to go back to my maiden one, so I keep forgetting it myself sometimes. So
Yeah. Adrian, what was your last name?
Pilkington, Pilkington.
Thank you. And Darcy.
Caserta, Caserta.
Sorry, what was that? CAS?
ERTA.
TA, Caserta. And Darcy is your first name?
It's hyphenated LEE on the end, so Darcy Lee, but those Darcy's for short. That's fine.
Okay, nice. Arya.
So this is a general question. I'm just a newbie, as you all know, like it's my second session. So I'm just wondering. So I saw how Sam did the role play. It was really awesome to watch. And as a person who has a bit of social anxiety, if you can name it, and a bit, takes some time to open up or maybe just to present themselves to a big screen, as you have just mentioned, Kyle. So, do you have any, suggestions or maybe any skills in particular that a person who has a bit of social anxiety can develop over the course? Do you have anything like that? I'm just wondering. Yeah.
Oh, good question. Look, in terms of treating or like suggesting things with social anxieties in general, no, I will have to refer you to a specialist, like we've been saying. But in terms of class anxieties or things like that, the best way is exposure. So the best way is just to chuck yourself in the deep end and just giving it a go. And when you're doing the role play, if you are live in class with me, I get everyone to turn the cameras off. So it's just me and you in that role play. So you won't see anyone else. It'll just be me and you. And just treat it like a normal, like a real life situation. Just put yourself in character and just imagine that you are in there and you are trying to help this client out. That they need help, they need your assistance. And yeah, just do everything you can to provide assistance. Another thing is if you give in my class, if you do your role plays, especially with me, you're not going to fail with me. You know, if I think that there's an area that you need improvement in, I'll pause the role play and I'll say, listen, I think you just need to cover this area a little bit more, and then I'll press play and then you start again. All right. But if you're saying no, that's not going to work, you can always email me privately and I can organize role play sessions with just you and me, and we can do 2, 3, 4 until you're comfortable with with yourself in doing role plays during class. And I've done that with a lot of students as well. Even in our current group, a few students have come to me in the beginning, and we've done role plays together. And now they're killing it. They're acing every time they jump on. They killing it. Yeah. And a lot of the role play assessments throughout the whole qualifications, 9 times out of 10 are identical. When I mean by that, obviously the scenarios are different, but the way we approach the situation is the same. So the first step is the greeting. So we've got to obviously say hello. So when you meet someone for the first time, you just don't say, yeah, come in, let's go, let's start this. You say, hello, how are you? My name is Cheyenne. Thank you for coming. What's your name? You
I'm
just
happy to share my greeting that I said just before, if you like.
yeah, go for
it. So basically, I start by saying, hello, how are you? And then they say, not too bad. And then I say, that's good to hear. My name's Maria. I'm a case manager here at First Access, and I'd just like to start by thanking you for meeting me today. I just wanted to go over a couple of things quickly with you that you'll notice me taking notes throughout our sessions, and this is for both of us to look back on so that we can monitor your growth and how far you've come. And these notes will stay completely between yourself and I. And our sessions are completely private and confidential. Whatever is said between you and I stays between us unless I think that you are at harm to yourself or at others, and then that will need to be reported, or in the case of referrals, your information will be passed on to the appropriate avenues, but this will always be discussed with you first.
Excellent. Yeah, that's it. Perfect. So yeah, if you got something like that, Arya, if you got something like that, and then you can use for every role play before you start, before the client starts, talking about why they've come to see you, that will put you in a good frame of mind as well, and to get you comfortable in the role play as well. If you've got a not good disclaimer like Darcy shared, about talking about the legal side of things, confidentiality, privacy, telling her that I'll be writing a lot, be taking a lot of notes because I don't want to miss anything. I want to start working on your well-being plan, start working on your rehabilitation plan. Once I note down, all the areas that you need help in, then we'll start talking together about areas where strategies that we can implement to improve your situation. And then that will be a leeway or a opening for the client to start talking about their situation. All right. All right, and then during the middle of the session, it's all about listening, active listening, nodding. Yeah, okay. Writing down notes, I'm struggling in this area. Oh, okay. Yeah. And then when she stops talking, then you've got to respond back to her. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to refer you to the doctor, psychologist, AOD counselor. I'm going to join you up in a soccer team. I'm going to make you go to church. I'm going to make you do this. That's not going to work. You've got to acknowledge what they said. For example, I'm really, I feel really bad about this, your situation. My heart goes out to you. I've met a lot of clients, and I know how difficult it is for you to go through your situation, especially being diagnosed with bipolar and the stresses of the unknown and the struggles you're having with your medication. But I want to assure you that you're not alone in this. There are a lot of people who have gone through what you've gone through, and um, they've all implemented strategies to improve their situation, and they've all overcome their obstacles. So, I know at the moment that you think that you're the only person going through this, and then, you're not going to ever get out of this situation. But I can assure you that I've seen many people who go through what you're going through and have seen the other side, and who are living fulfilling lives. So I'm here to support you as much as I can. Work out, work together to come up with some ideas, some strategies that will help you in your journey of rehabilitation, and hopefully get you back on track. Okay. And then, yeah, and then, yeah, and then towards the end, you just wrap it up. You just say things like, "Is there anything else you want to share before we wrap it up? Is there anything I can do next time to improve or help you even more?" If they say something, just thank them. Oh, thank you for that. Thank you for the suggestion. I'll make sure that I'll get that done next time. And then organize a time for next session, and then that's it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All
Thank you
right.
so much.
No, that's all right. So yeah, just email me when you get a chance, and then we'll organize a time for that role play.
Sure. Thanks again,
All
Ken.
right. That's okay. Wayne.
Yeah, hi. Couple of things, Aria. There is, I did my first one tonight, so I'm like, it's where you are. And there's in the resource guide, there's how to do a role play effectively. And also, yesterday I YouTubed, and there's a load of Hader role plays and instructions on role play. There's one that goes for like an hour 30.
Yeah.
Which is really good, and it's got screenshots. I just took screenshots of the paraphrasing and welcoming and everything like that. So you can make up your own script out of that.
Yeah.
The other question, Cheyenne, was because Yasmin's got the recording of my role play, the client assessment template we're to include with his submission. Is that role play sensitive? Because I haven't seen the role play, so I sort of took notes as we were going, but I don't know exactly what's on my role play.
You mean the first part, the client assessment part?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's before you have your role play session with the client.
Okay.
Yeah. But the well-being plan is something that you develop during your role play.
Okay.
During your role play. Like, you don't have to, but because you've got so much information on the client already, you already know what kind of what the challenges are and what goals and strategies need to be implemented for the client in a well-being plan.
Okay.
So yeah, that one, don't think too much into it. Just go off the information that's in the assessment.
Yep.
Yeah, it's I'm not gonna like watch your role play and then look at your well-being plan and say, oh, do they match? I'm not gonna do that. I'm just, yeah, if as long as the information is from the assessment, you're fine.
Yep. Thank you.
All good. All right. All right, guys, it's 9 o'clock, nearly 9 o'clock. So I'm gonna end the session now. So thank you for all joining. I'm gonna wait for the other guys to finish. You guys, I'm happy for you guys to call it a night, and I'll see you guys next week.